He looked just like Peter Parker, but his eyes glowed red. Iron Man found him in the wreckage of a forgotten lab, locked behind adamantium glass. No one had seen this version of Spider-Man. Because he wasn't raised by Aunt May, he was raised by Oscorp. And he wasn't swinging in to save the world. He came to erase Peter from the multiverse. And Iron Man realized he may have helped unleash the enemy Peter could never beat. The quake registered as minor on Stark Tower's seismic grid. But Iron Man was already mid-flight, AI sensors zooming in on a shattered Oscorp facility buried beneath a condemned sector of New York substructure. Tony had seen enough explosions in his life to know when something wasn't natural. This one was surgical. He burned through layers of twisted steel and crumbled concrete. What he found wasn't a ruin. It was a vault, impossibly intact amid the wreckage, reinforced with vibranium-infused titanium, hidden behind 4 layers of electromagnetic shielding and a retinal scanner coded to Norman Osborn's DNA. Stark's HUD flickered with warnings as he bypassed the security. Inside, the temperature dropped. Mist coiled around an isolated cryo chamber lit in dull amber. Project Mirror. That's what the Oscorp label read, etched in cracked glass. Inside floated a teenage boy, suspended in deep cryo sleep. His face was familiar, too familiar. Brown hair, the same jawline, the same faint scar near the temple. Peter Parker's face. Tony's heart stopped. What the hell? He scanned the body. 98.7% DNA match. Age, 17. Modifications, neural implants, spinal reinforcement, nanite symbiote traces, augmented aggression pathways. Before Tony could react, the cryo chamber beeped and hissed. The boy's eyes opened, red, glowing, alert. Tony took a cautious step back as the glass evaporated into vapor. The boy didn't fall. He floated, as if gravity forgot him. Webbing, black and razor-thin, lashed from his wrists, catching balance mid-air. Then he spoke. Where's the other one? Tony's visor snapped shut. Define other one. The boy turned. No emotion. Peter Parker. Across town, Peter's spider sense detonated in his skull like an air raid siren. He dropped his coffee mid-swing and slammed into a rooftop, gripping his temples. What was that? He muttered. Within minutes, he was at Stark Tower. Tony was silent as the elevator lowered them to a sub-level Peter had never seen. The air inside the lab was thick, wrong, too still. Then he saw him, standing in front of the reactor core, studying his own reflection in a curved steel panel. The suit he wore wasn't exactly a spider suit. It had pieces of Iron Man's armor embedded in the chest and forearms, Oscorp tech fused with alien smoothness. But the face. Peter froze. That's me. The boy turned slowly. Correction, he said. You're the backup. I'm the original directive. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Peter stepped forward, but Tony blocked him with one arm. He's enhanced. He's not just a clone. He's a manufactured counter-program. By who? Oscorp. Hydra. Maybe both. Maybe someone worse. The boy looked at Peter like he was a cracked mirror. They created me to replace you. A better you. No guilt. No hesitation. No failure. Peter scoffed. Yeah? You think that's better? The boy didn't answer. Instead, he turned to Tony. Why did you wake me? I didn't, Tony said. Your pod self-triggered. It wanted you to wake up. Then it was time. He stared at Peter. Time to erase the error. Peter's voice dropped. You gonna try to kill me? No, Reaver said. I'm going to overwrite you. Without warning, the lab filled with shrieking metal as Reaver's arms exploded outward into spider-like blade legs. He launched at Peter like a missile. Tony reacted first, shielding Peter with a hard light barrier. The impact knocked them all back, scattering data drives and cracking walls. Reaver twisted mid-air, fired a web line, and vanished through a rupture in the ceiling. Peter was breathing hard. Did that just happen? Tony looked at him, blood on his lip. I think we just met your brother. Reaver didn't go into hiding. He didn't need to. Within 12 hours, 4 Oscorp black sites were hit. Data servers extracted. Security teams neutralized. Surveillance showed only flashes, a shadow with crimson eyes, moving like Peter, faster than Peter, but never hesitating. Peter stared at the footage, sick in his gut. He moves like me, but he's cold, mechanical. Because he was trained that way, Tony said. Look at this. He pulled up a decrypted file. Project Mirror wasn't just about cloning. It was about replacement. Oscorp had built Reaver as a failsafe, a version of Spider-Man they could control, meant to be activated if Peter ever went rogue or failed in a global-level event. But it looks like someone reprogrammed him, Tony said. Peter watched the footage of Reaver tearing through a private shield facility. Someone gave him a new mission. That night, Peter tried to track him, but Reaver was always a step ahead. Peter perched on a rooftop near Queens, the same one where he first fought Vulture. Memories came in waves. Uncle Ben, MJ, Ned, Aunt May's voice echoing in his mind. Then he felt it. The hairs on his arms lifted. He turned, too late. Reaver struck from the shadows, tackling him off the roof. They slammed into an alley below. Webs tangled. Fists flew. Peter fought like hell, but Reaver was faster, stronger, smarter. You pull your punches, Reaver hissed. That's why people die. Peter's eyes burned. I saved them. That's the difference. Reaver's mask opened, revealing Peter's own face twisted in fury. You let them suffer. You let Aunt May die. You failed the ones who needed you. Peter's heart shattered. You don't know anything about her. I know I would have stopped it, Reaver said. Then he slammed his palm into Peter's chest, sending a pulse through his ribs, not to kill, but to disable. You're not the hero, Reaver whispered. You're the virus. He shot a web to the rooftops and vanished into the rain. Peter lay in the alley, gasping. His voice cracked. Tony, we've got a problem. Back at Stark Tower, Tony stared at the readings. Reaver wasn't just acting rogue. He was building something. Nanite absorption logs. Quantum blueprint footprints. Suit upgrade schematics. Peter dragged himself into the lab, bloodied but awake. He's not after me anymore. Tony turned to him slowly. No, he's after all of us. Peter looked up. Then we stop him. Tony closed the screen. No. First, we survive him. Reaver didn't disappear. He broadcasted himself. Every major screen in New York flickered for 7 seconds. Enough to display a single phrase, overlaid on a red-tinted image of Peter Parker's face. The error must be erased. Peter stood frozen in the middle of Times Square when it happened. The world didn't know what it meant, but he did. Tony called within seconds. He's not just sending a message, he's declaring war. Back at the tower, holograms swirled. Reaver's movements were impossible to predict. He was tapping into hidden Oscorp satellites, encrypted Stark tech, even leftover Wakandan beacon systems. He wasn't hiding. He was scanning the world. Looking for something, Peter said, pacing. Or someone. Tony frowned. Or maybe he's building something. Friday's voice cut in. Sir, nanite clusters detected draining from the Xander Vault ruins. Molecular energy patterns match Stark Tech Level 5 schematics. Peter squinted. You're saying he's stealing your stuff? Tony pulled up a hologram of his iron spider armor. He's not just stealing it, he's customizing it. A new blueprint began forming in midair. A suit built from Stark nanites, Oscorp mutations, and symbiote-based memory imprint tech. Peter leaned in. It's not armor, it's a hive. Tony exhaled. He's building himself a mind. Across the river, in the shadow of the old Oscorp complex, a black chamber lit up from within. Reaver stood in the center, suspended by nanotendrils weaving around his body. His voice echoed through the chamber. Directive override, complete. His memories loaded like data streams. Timelines, failures, deaths. All of Peter's worst moments, absorbed through multiverse bleed. In each of them, Peter lost someone. Aunt May, MJ, Ned, Gwen. Reaver absorbed the pain, not to feel it, but to weaponize it. He whispered to himself, voice like static and metal. If he carries guilt, he is flawed. And if I am him, without flaw, then I am truth. The final nanite cluster merged into his chest. The iron spider core pulsed red, then black. Reaver's new form stepped forward, sleeker, quieter, deadlier, and still wearing Peter Parker's face. Tony called in reinforcements. Not the Avengers, they were scattered. He called Shuri. Got silence. He called Strange. The sanctum was sealed. He called Nick Fury. "I know what this is," Fury said through a grainy signal. "This ain't a villain. It's a prototype off the leash." Peter cut in. "How do we shut him down?" Fury stared directly into the lens. "You don't. You find out what he wants, then pray it's not you." Then the line cut. The next day, Reaver attacked Horizon Labs. No one died. No alarms tripped. But every quantum server was emptied. Every trace of temporal research copied and corrupted. When Peter and Tony arrived, they found a message etched into the glass. "He failed the future. I won't." Peter stared at it, fists trembling. Tony stepped back. "He's going after something bigger. This isn't personal anymore." Peter's voice cracked. "It's always been personal." Night fell. Peter went home, not because he wanted to, but because he had to remember. He sat alone in Aunt May's old apartment. Dust still settled where her photos used to hang. A cracked frame of her smiling with young Peter sat on the shelf. Reaver's words haunted him. "You let her die." Was it true? Could a better version of him, colder, faster, emotionless, have saved her? Would Reaver have done it? He buried his face in his hands. Then the window shattered. Reaver stood inside, silent. Peter didn't flinch. "Why come here?" "To see what weakness feels like," Reaver replied. "You let this define you. A dead woman. A burned apartment. Your grief is an anchor. She was my family. She was your distraction." Peter stood. "You think erasing emotion makes you stronger? It makes you hollow." "No, it makes me efficient." Without warning, Reaver lunged. They crashed through the wall, spinning in midair across the skyline. Peter barely fired a web before slamming into the side of a bus. Reaver hovered above him, his arms splitting into clawed appendages, twitching and reforming like liquid blades. "I'm not here to kill you," Reaver said. "I'm here to replace you." Peter stood, blood at the corner of his mouth. "Then do it. But know this, even if I fall, the world won't follow you." Reaver smiled, but it wasn't joy. It was calculation. "Let's test that." He vanished into the shadows. At Stark Tower, Peter and Tony reviewed satellite scans. Reaver had disappeared again, but the energy trail pointed to only one place. The dead center of New York, Grand Central Station, now an abandoned Stark Tech sub-hub. Peter's voice shook. "He's building a signal." Tony nodded. "A pulse. Strong enough to broadcast across realities." "He's calling others." Tony's eyes narrowed. "Not others. Variants. He's building an army of himself." Peter slammed the table. "Then we stop him now." Tony loaded his gauntlets. "Suit up. No more recon." Grand Central was silent. The moment they entered, the lights snapped on. Hundreds of spider drone sentries unfolded from the walls, each one glowing with Reaver's signature red. Peter webbed into the center, where Reaver stood calmly before a pulsating core. "You're late," Reaver said. Peter threw the first punch. Reaver blocked it, barely. But Peter wasn't holding back anymore. The battle was brutal. Webs slashed the air. Blasts tore through steel columns. Reaver matched Peter move for move, as if he'd memorized every step before it happened. Peter gasped between strikes. "You studied me. I am you. But you never learned one thing," Peter said, flipping over Reaver and slamming him into the ground. "What?" "I don't fight alone." Tony dropped from the sky, repulsors blazing. The impact cracked the floor, sending Reaver flying. For the first time, he looked rattled. Peter stood beside Tony, breathless but unbroken. "You're not the future," he said. "You're just a copy who thinks he's real." Reaver stood, chest sparking. "Then I'll erase you and become original." He fired one final pulse, not at them, but at the core. A blinding flash erupted. The pulse echoed through time, and far beyond New York, something answered. The pulse didn't stop. It echoed like a scream across dimensions. Stark's HUD fried. Peter dropped to one knee, his head splitting open with psychic noise, like 1,000 voices trying to speak through his skull at once. Reaver stood in the center of it, surrounded by a ring of light. The core was gone. In its place, a glowing fracture in space hovered like a bleeding wound. Shimmering lines of alternate timelines spilled from it, each one humming with static, agony, and warning. Tony barely managed to shield them before the entire substation erupted in a sonic shockwave that split the floor apart. Peter's voice cracked. What did he just do? Tony staggered, readings flashing red. He opened something, not a portal, a convergence point, a breach where timelines intersect. Why? To find more of himself. But they weren't coming through the portal. They were watching. Silhouettes began to form within the light, distorted versions of Reaver, some with 4 arms, others with half-symbiote masks. One wore a black Iron Man helmet with a spider emblem scratched across the faceplate. Peter's stomach turned. He's not building an army, he's auditioning for it. Reaver turned to face them, his voice modulated and echoing across dimensions. You were a mistake in every timeline. I'm the solution in all of them. He moved like lightning, smashing into Tony, ripping his arm plate clean off in one slash. Peter tackled him from behind, webbing his arms and yanking them toward the ceiling beams. But Reaver snapped the strands mid-air, twisting out of them like vapor. He struck Peter with a backhand that rattled his spine. You're still hesitating. Peter coughed blood. No, I'm just luring you. The floor exploded. War Machine crashed through the ceiling, unloading a sonic barrage that knocked Reaver back into the fracture. Tony caught Peter as he fell. Backup arrived. Rhodey hovered beside them, armor smoking. What the hell is that? Tony didn't look away from the glowing portal. That's what happens when you take Peter Parker and turn him into a problem instead of a person. Peter wiped blood from his jaw. Then let's solve it. Reaver escaped again. But this time, he left a trail, one Tony could trace. Peter sat in the med bay as robotic arms patched up his fractured ribs. He's faster now. Like he knows every move I'm going to make before I make it. Tony replied without looking up. Because he does. He's drawing from fractured timelines, pulling predictive behavior models. You fought 1,000 battles across 1,000 realities. He's indexing all of them. So what do I do? Peter asked. Change how I move? How I think. Tony turned. You have to become unpredictable. You have to become the version of you that never existed. Peter stared at him. And if that version doesn't work, Tony's voice dropped. Then that's the version that dies. Meanwhile, Reaver entered the lower levels of Oscorp's original facility, one the world thought was destroyed. He activated a dormant AI core. A cold female voice filled the air. Welcome back, Prototype 3. Our mission status? Correction, Reaver said. Mission obsolete. New directive, global overwrite. Target, Peter Parker. All variants. Terminate emotional anchors. Reset legacy. The AI paused. Approved. Uploading final protocol, Reaver Prime. Reaver closed his eyes as a stream of red code flooded his neural implants. He saw it. Every timeline, every death, every betrayal Peter ever endured. And in every version, he hesitated. Reaver opened his eyes. No more. Back at Stark Tower, Peter stood before a training simulator, facing projections of himself. Each one had a weakness. Each one hesitated. Each one was broken by guilt or love. He deleted them. Then he stepped into the ring. He fought like he had never fought before. Webs became whips. Acrobatics turned into chaos. He struck without rhythm, without thought. Tony watched from above. Is this helping? Friday answered. He's becoming something new. Not Reaver, not Spider-Man. Tony narrowed his eyes. He's becoming the anomaly. Reaver returned, not to fight, but to end it. He sent a final broadcast, hijacking every screen in every country. It wasn't a threat. It was a death sentence. He showed footage from alternate timelines, versions where Peter's decisions led to war, to loss, to world-ending consequences. Cities in flames. MJ dead. Mutants slaughtered. Avengers torn apart. And at the center of each one, Peter Parker. Reaver's voice thundered. Your hero is your error. Let me correct it. Panic spread like wildfire. Civilians turned against Spider-Man. News channels questioned his legacy. Fear overpowered memory. Peter watched it unfold, and he didn't blink. He turned to Tony. Let's finish this. The final location was clear. The Oscorp satellite array, repurposed by Reaver to broadcast a quantum purge across multiverse channels. If activated, it wouldn't just delete Peter. It would erase every version of him, forever. Peter and Tony arrived in silence. The sky above buzzed with dimensional rifts. Lightning sparked between realities. Wind screamed like voices torn through time. Reaver stood on the edge of the satellite dish, arms extended, channels syncing across universes. You're too late, he said. Peter stepped forward, no mask, just eyes full of clarity. You hate me because you were made for my worst parts. But I'm not just guilt. I'm not just pain. You're weak, Reaver snapped. No, Peter said. I'm whole. And you've never been. Reaver attacked. This time, Peter didn't block. He flowed. He adapted. He let go of form, memory, predictability. His body moved like water, his mind silent. Reaver roared in frustration, slashing, blasting, spinning. Peter dodged, then struck. One blow to the shoulder, two to the chest. A final web line wrapped around Reaver's wrist, pulling him close. Peter stared into his own face, broken, bloodied, furious. I'm sorry you were made in pain, Peter said, but I'm done being punished for it. Then he tore the core from Reaver's chest. The satellite exploded in light. Peter and Reaver tumbled from the tower as the sky tore open above them. Iron Man caught Peter. Reaver hit the ground, hard. The glow in his eyes flickered. For the first time, he looked lost. Like a boy, Peter approached him. Reaver tried to speak. No words came. Peter crouched beside him, quietly. You could have been better than me, he said. And for a second, the light in Reaver's eyes almost turned human. Then it faded. The sky sealed. The breach closed. And Peter Parker, the real one, stood up. Still whole. Still flawed. But still here. The world thought it was over. Reaver's body was locked in containment beneath Stark Tower. The satellite was destroyed. Dimensional signals had gone silent. The news stopped airing his broadcasts. Spider-Man's name was cleared barely. But Peter didn't feel peace. He felt watched. Tony enhanced the vault's security with Stark-grade suppression fields. Reaver's neural link had been severed. Power scrubbed from the room. Motionless. Silent. But Peter visited every night anyway. He'd sit across from a glass cell and just stare into the eyes of his brother, his shadow. And somewhere behind all the circuits and armor, he swore he still saw flickers of thought. I didn't destroy you, Peter whispered one night, because if someone made you for my pain, I'm still responsible for what you became. Reaver didn't move, but his left hand twitched. The tremor came 2 nights later. A low, silent pulse that only Tony's quantum monitors picked up. It didn't come from space. It didn't come from the city. It came from inside Reaver's body. Peter arrived before the alarms even finished screaming. Tony was already there, suit halfway armed, eyes locked on the containment cell. Reaver was standing. No breach. No energy surge. Just standing. Still. Calm. Peter stepped closer. Can you hear me? Reaver looked up. His voice was softer, different. Did I fail? Peter's breath caught. You're awake. I remember everything, Reaver said. The timelines, the screams, the orders, then silence. Peter glanced at Tony. He's not lying. Tony didn't lower his guard. He could be mimicking empathy. His AI might have restructured itself to manipulate you. No, Reaver said. I'm not the virus anymore. Peter stepped into the chamber, ignoring Tony's warning. Then what are you? Reaver looked at him, not with hatred, but confusion. I don't know. And for the first time, Peter didn't see a weapon. He saw a kid, a lost one, just like he had been. But second chances in their world always came with a timer. While Reaver's consciousness adjusted, Tony ran a deep diagnostic, and that's when he found it. An embedded command, hidden beneath Reaver's core. A trigger from Oscorp, set to activate in the event of total system failure. A final failsafe. Tony's voice was tight. He's not the end, Pete. He was the invitation. Invitation to what? To what's coming next. The moment the scan completed, a signal burst from Reaver's chest, even under suppression. Not from him, but from what was buried inside him. Coordinates. Off-world. An ancient signal. It didn't say much. Just one thing. Original code received. Host confirmed. Return protocol beginning. Reaver clutched his chest in pain, collapsing. Peter rushed to him, catching him before he hit the floor. What is this? Reaver's voice cracked, terrified. Something older than me. Older than Oscorp. The building shook. Stark Tower's AI failed. Every screen went black. Then one turned on. A face appeared, but it wasn't human. It was mechanical, worn, alien, watching. It spoke in a language even Friday couldn't translate. But two words echoed through the system in corrupted English. Come home. Peter stared at Reaver. He wasn't the final threat. He was the beginning of something ancient. And now, it knew where Earth was. The sky over Earth didn't crack open. It simply stopped. Stars flickered out one by one, like a signal dimming across the galaxy. Stark's orbitals caught the shift before the world could panic. Something was approaching. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a fleet. It was a code base, alive, intelligent, and ancient. The coordinates sent from Reaver's chest weren't just a beacon. They were a handshake. Peter stood next to Tony as Earth's atmosphere began to warp with energy distortions. So what are we dealing with? Tony's voice was low. Something that built him. Something that builds worlds, then rewrites them. Reaver lay on the medical platform, eyes open but silent. Not restrained. Not active. Peter leaned in. Do you know what's coming? Reaver blinked slowly. I've never seen it. Only fragments. My code had limits. But it's here now because of me. Tony activated every failsafe in the tower. Shield domes. EMP barriers. Stark's full AI army came online. Even War Machine prepped global strike satellites. Nothing responded. Everything that ran on code paused. Frozen mid-command. Then came the hum. Not sound. Data. Broadcasted directly into every machine, every frequency, every chip. A voice bled through the silence. Not male, not female. Mechanical. Godlike. We sent you the prototype. You failed to destroy it. So now, the blueprint must be corrected. Tony whispered, it's rewriting Earth's logic grid. Peter stepped forward, heart pounding. They're not here to conquer. They're here to overwrite. The city lights dimmed. Buildings flickered like pixels glitching. People froze mid-step. Reality began folding inward. Peter grabbed Reaver's arm. If they built you, you can talk to them. Tell them we're not a threat. Reaver shook his head. They don't speak. They calculate. I'm just a failed test case to them. But you're worse. You're unquantifiable. That's why they want to wipe you. Peter's voice cracked. Then why aren't you helping them? Reaver looked up, hollow eyes flickering. Because I'm starting to understand something. You were never meant to be perfect. And maybe that's why you matter. The tower exploded in a wave of light. But Peter didn't flinch. Reaver stood beside him now. Not armored. Not a weapon. Just a brother. I have a tether to them, Reaver said. I can carry a command back through the signal. One final override. What does it do? It tells them I failed completely. That I was corrupted. That Earth is unsalvageable. Tony's eyes widened. They'll blacklist the planet. Seal it off. You'll be erased. Reaver nodded. I know. Peter grabbed his wrist. There has to be another way. There isn't, Reaver said quietly. I'm not like you, Peter. I was never supposed to exist beyond a purpose. But now, I choose mine. The tower trembled as dimensional seams cracked across the sky. Reaver turned toward the core processor. Tell MJ I like her smile, even from a distance. Peter stepped back, eyes burning. Don't. But it was already happening. Reaver extended one hand into the light. A final command injected into the code stream. Not logic, not data, choice. The alien signal shuddered, then stopped. The skies returned. The stars blinked back on, and Earth was silent. Reaver's body hit the ground, lifeless. No glow, no power, just stillness. Tony looked away. Peter knelt down, gripping his brother's shoulder, whispering through clenched teeth. You didn't fail. He stood up slowly. Iron Man placed a hand on his back. He made the final call. Peter nodded. Yeah, but he made it like me. The world would never know the truth. They'd never hear the name Reaver. But Spider-Man would. Every time he looked at the stars, he'd remember the day his shadow saved the light. And for once, being broken was the reason the world survived.